Hello there folks, it is theStC with Starcraft. This is a pro replay. It is the ace match from the Team Story Cup. Team Acer versus Team Axiom. The first time that they ended up playing twice in this tournament. I casted the full finals of the Team Story Cup between both of these teams. You can go back and check that on my channel as well. But I'm not going to be going through this entire series. It was a very long one, but I'm just picking out a few of the games that I thought were really exceptional or really cool, featuring the players that I like. For instance, Toss Imba is Acer's Scarlett. Down here in the bottom right, being the ace player from Team Acer to go up against Ryung, who had managed to win a couple of rounds before this going up here. So he was on a bit of a streak. We'll see if Scarlett, who managed to win 1 or 2 games in this series earlier on, can close it out. This is a bit of a longer replay, so I will speed it up, contrary to what most people like, just because it's a longer replay. Rocking the coffee. Yeah, it's a little cold. I actually forgot it at home when I was heading off to work today. And then I came back and I'm enjoying it now. It doesn't mean that I'm going to enjoy it any less. I was about to say, why is that thing rallied back there? But it's alright. We did have a gas going down fairly early. We should be seeing a Reaper. Gonna say, this map's pretty good for Reapers. I mean, this isn't a great way to enter into a base. There's not a lot of space, but against a Zerg player, they're generally not able to shut that down like some other races. Delayed Reaper, slightly delayed, but not that big of a deal. See Scarlett down here. Very obviously going to be going for hatch first. There's a pretty long rush distance map. I don't see too many times that you're going to go proxy 2 racks on this map. It happens sometimes, but that's kind of why this Overlord is scouting up here to the north. This is the very common locations that you're going to be seeing cheese buildings coming out of a Terran player. Queens are started. They're not too far off. We'll slow it back down. Lings are already out here, so we'll see if managed to get a worker kill. Be very careful about that one particular drone. We'll force it down to the lower ground. Queen is about to pop. Actually, might have just about grabbed that if it's a little bit luckier. No biggie. Might be come back and grab those later. They will regenerate. It's not too big of a problem. Very rarely are you going to see a really top level Zerg player lose a worker to a Reaper. If you get one worker with a Reaper, you can consider that quite a successful encounter. It's really there to scout, see the timings. It went in here, it didn't see gas, therefore speed wasn't going to be coming out anytime soon. Looks like maybe we're going to have Banshee play here. We'll see if we get an add-on on that barracks here in the next little bit. Terran's in a pretty comfortable position, expanding. This is extremely standard right now, nothing too funky or different. Gases can be set are a little bit early here. We'll see if there's going to be quicker teching as opposed to a quicker expansion. Maybe we'll see some sort of roach play. Hard to say. Is going to deny that Reaper from going in there and seeing those gases. So this is going to cost a little bit of economy. We'll see if that lair tech is going to come down a little bit faster because of that. More and more Hellions. It looks like it will be Banshees here. We'll wait and see how effective those can be. I think there's 4 Queens out right now, which is a really good amount you want against a Terran player, just because it allows you to move that creep, defend the front, and then obviously when you start expanding, you've got another Queen down there ready to start injecting. Reaper will see the timing of that expansion. It's not too delayed. Somewhere between a 6 and 7 minute mark is pretty common timings for a Zerg player to be getting down that 3rd base. The good thing about this... Oh, nice snipe on the creep tumor there. The good thing about this map is that it's pretty easy to connect creep between all of your bases. That way, if there are these Hellions coming in, there should be the opportunity to not really lose a lot of workers beforehand. 6 Hellions coming across. There's not going to be really anything down here for them to kill. A little bit of a wall off happening here. I think that's very important. It's very easy for 6 Hellions to run by and get a lot of damage in. We'll see if that's the case. Now, Overlord giving a little bit of extra vision out front. Queen's in position. One Banshee should already be finished, I'm imagining. Yes, there it is. Might be able to get a deny on this. He is bringing these Marines with him here, and this might be designed specifically to try to get a deny on this expansion. There's not much out for attacking units. Speed's almost finished, though. See if that plays into this here or not. There's no transfuse energy sitting around, so these Queens are a little bit vulnerable. One transfuse was ready to go. Looks like there is a second on, obviously, the weakened Queen. So it's a pretty nice job for Ryung to pick off the one with a little bit more energy there. This is actually getting him quite a bit of damage. This one Banshee probably be, well, I was about to say better off attacking the Queen, but this one Spore Crawler is going to help keep things under control. So this base did finish. Banshee might be able to take it out. I'm thinking that the Queen should be able to help out here. Banshees do a pretty good job against Queens if they don't have detection there. Energy's just about to run out on the Cloak. Should, with 2 Banshees here now, be able to take down this hatchery. Spore Crawler is actually moving out of the main. Nope, there's one more up there, so he should be okay. There is detection down here now, so a little bit of redundancies. For those Queens, they actually lost quite a few of them. Scarlett did in the defense of that. Lots and lots of Hellions now. And this is a pretty good kind of contain option in this position here. These Hellions properly controlled to be able to deal with a lot of Zerglings. And that's just kind of Scarlett's style. We'll see her very rarely want to actually get out any more roaches. What we see from some Zerg players just to hold off this kind of pressure. She's somebody that will almost never take on that kind of tech. Lots of Zerglings. This is pretty dangerous. Yeah, Ryung's paying pretty good attention to his units. Getting us around might take a little bit more clever action. There's a 3rd command center almost finished right now, we can see from Ryung. So he's actually sitting in a really, really great position. Gas is just finishing down at the expansion. So if we look at the actual units, a head and workers and a 3rd base already finished and probably heading out into position. So this is actually a really smooth kind of timing. And it's punishing Scarlett pretty badly, because she didn't get the Spire out early enough for any of these mutas to really control that. Banshees may have to make a run for it here pretty soon. Yeah, take that, Larva. Kind of surprised these Hellions aren't here poking a little bit more. I mean, they're on a bit of a clock with the mutas coming out, but they're not really accomplishing too much right now. I like that she got the Overlord speed in place, that way that she could chase these things down, if so be it. Just a handful of missile turrets down here. Gonna be able to keep them safe against most kind of things that are gonna come out. It is gonna be a bio style, so we're gonna see a pretty big influx of Marines starting to flow out here in the next little bit as this muta count starts to grow. Pretty much forced to take this base up here right now. That's not super good. She might have to try and spread some Overlords around because all those Hellions are still alive, and going around for a snipe on any type of workers on that side of things could be pretty effective. Not too many mutas just yet, and it's really hard to get that huge mutaflock up if you're stuck on 4 gases. It's enough just to kind of pester, but it's going to be really hard to deal with this Marine army as it goes across the map. Baneling speed is going to be finished here pretty quick. 1-1 is finished for the Zerg player. Same with the Terran. 2-2 has started a little bit quicker for our Zerg player there. Big pile of drones coming out. This base is getting very mined down. Banshee's going to come around, see if they can do a little bit more damage. They're losing some of their effectiveness. I generally don't like to see units just kind of thrown away, but they're not really accomplishing him that much right now. Let's see if he remembers the though. There they are. Pretty good pull from Scarlett there. And yeah, these Banshees were essentially just thrown away. I don't think they got any worker kills. A little bit of damage on the spawning pool. They do pull the mutas out of position, so we'll be able to clean out a little bit of creep here. But more than that, I don't think it's going to get too much done. Canceling this base would be really good, but you don't want to stick around that creep too long as the Zerg player starts to spread out. Excuse me. Well, that sure took care of all the Hellions. Pretty nice hits there from all those Banelings. Actually sniped down 2 of the medevacs. Not a lot of energy for healing up here, but he should be able to clean up a few more things while Scarlett pulls back an army again. 2-2 is going to be finishing up here pretty soon. A little unfortunate for Ryung, he lost all those Hellions there pretty quick. Wasn't able to get any types of splits or outrun on the creep. Suppose it's a little bit more important to keep that bio army alive, though. +2 on the way for the mutas. Scarlett's known for a really strong muta play. That's not really strong muta play. I have great timing when it comes to that. He's going to try for a drop. There were some overlords down in position here, so I don't know how effective this is going to be. These might have just been coming home to defend, I suppose. Which isn't a bad move. I mean, there's only a couple missile turrets here. If there was a big enough mutaflock, could have really caught that Terran army out of position and unable to really deal with that kind of harassment. You see, now Scarlett has that idea. And she will pull out of there just fine. Still moving some creep around here. I think that's really important. It's very easy to get caught up in the action of these games and then forget about your creep spread, and then before you know it, the Terran army is just going to be very difficult to punish, being able to run away from everything. Do we have a hive? No, we do not. Looks like we'll be getting that infestation pit, getting that hive tech and that 3-3 on the way. The Terran has an opportunity to get a pretty good upgrade lead here just because that hive tech is going to be pretty delayed. Well, no, maybe not in the grand scheme of things delayed. It's not like it's too often you see Zerg players just rush for hive tech unless the late game plan is broodlords nice, and ultralisks. Ultralisks are obviously really nice to do as a tech switch against a very marine focused army, but you're still going to need fungal growths generally to get any kind of damage done. It's nice. I'm seeing a lot of pro Terrans like mixing in that one Thor with their armies, just because you get that really good range, that huge splash damage. I mean, they're not upgrading it at all, so it's not going to have the opportunity to kind of get that extra damage. But its ability to, you know, hit really big shots while mutas are trying to snipe off medevacs, snipe off widow mines. Thor is going to really pay for itself, and this is a lot of widow mines in here. 8 in total. So we'll see what kind of shots they can get. You need to split those up pretty good. Looks like Ryung's preemptively doing that. Well, they're both pretty much maxed at this point. Queen's going to go down. It's nice to see just little bits of units from each of these players kind of coming out of here and doing some damage. Oh, looks like it's time though. Well, that turned out pretty darn good, I must say. It was pretty risky. There was 8 widow mines up there, and only a couple have fired on the first bits of army. So I think I'm not going to say that Scarlett got lucky, but the widow mine hits there definitely didn't pay off well enough and did a lot of friendly fire damage to the Terran army. So I think that was a great trade for her. It's going to relieve the pressure for a little bit, but I expect Ryung to kind of be out on the map doing some damage pretty soon. You can see that he's just so aware right now, playing so crisp to come back here and already have these units in position to deal with what he already predicts is going to be a muta attack on the main. As a Zerg player, after you crush that army and the Terrans regrouping, this is when he can go put on that harassment damage. And we can see that's going to be a little bit difficult. We're going to get the planetary fortress up here, and even another group of army up here to deal in case it was on the north side. So Young's just thinking of a lot of things right now, playing very patiently. Got himself a great position. Does he got sensor towers? Yes, he does. I like the sensor tower. It's going to be able to see the mutas that are coming around the south. Let's see if he gets one more along the north side to protect from there as well. See if he can trap these mutas in here. This is actually a pretty risky spot. Actually, you're going to try. Actually going to get himself a handful there. I don't know exactly how many he killed, but it's pretty effective. But that gives Scarlett a bit of an opportunity here. The army is scrambling to get back once she runs inside of the sensor tower range there. It was all revealed to the Terran. Picking up small groups. I mean, it takes a lot of damage on those mutas. Losing a couple kind of sucks. They will regenerate. Picking up some medevacs would be nice. Big shot from the Thor once again. He actually got the +1 attack on there as well. I think that's pretty nifty. So on a little bit of a, they're going to call it a stalemate right now. The Terran's just, well, it is maxed out again, so I think it's going to be about time that he's going to run across the map. Creep's moved a long way. He's going to have to clean a lot of it up. Doesn't have a lot of just extra command centers floating around at this point. He doesn't have a bank set up now that he's on 4 bases and he's maxed. should be able to start drawing up that bank, getting out more. There we go. There's the extra command centers, extra barracks. This is just going to help him really, really keep on top of the late game here. Tons of production in case he loses big armies. Lots of scans and mules in case he wants to sacrifice any of his workers. Big mutaflock, but this is pulling a lot of those important units out of the way so that the Terran can come through on this side. Still lots of Widow Mines down here. We got 5, 6. Thor's just kind of cleaning house up here at the extra range. This is just kind of the dance point here. It's not like static defenses does a lot for the Zerg player at this point. They're going to get mowed down by this army. The mixing of the Thors doing huge damage to the Mutas. So it's now just kind of dancing back and forth, not wanting to lose a lot of army to the Widow Mines. There's the little bits of units. Oh, pretty big Widow Mine hits down there. But once again, it looks as though Scarlett's going to be able to clean up. Still got a pretty good sized mutaflock. I'm actually very impressed she's kept that much alive. Going to pick off that Thor in just a couple of shots. Another nice little drop up here. This Muta is in the wrong place. A little unfortunate from the rallying. Actually, the Locusts coming out of there were able to do quite a bit of damage to those and kept that other Muta alive. I like these little hit squads. I think they're fun. They're just throwing the Zerg player off a little bit, trying to get some damage in. Units-wise, we can see that they're pretty equal when it comes to the economy. It's just getting up solid bases at this point. This is where static defense becomes a little bit more important, is to deal with drops and run-bys. It's not really going to hold off the entire army, but it is going to be able to hold off these kind of small, 8 Marine drop squads. We do finally have Ultralisks on the way. Do we have a lot of tech labs? No, we don't. Not many tech labs on the barracks here. Well, a couple more down here, actually. No, she's ready to move in. Sorry, Ryung's ready to move into the Marauder play. We can see the supply's down a fair bit for him right now, but he's going to be in position to deal with this Ultralisk tech switch here pretty good. Good timings on the upgrades for Scarlett. That was a pretty unfortunate pickup. This is a pretty good supply lead right now for Scarlett. Hopefully she doesn't lose too much for creep. Yeah, now she's going to go and do it again. Ultralisks in position. 5 Marauders at a time right now. Gotta get those rallied up a little bit tighter. What are you going to do? Still going for those drops just to try to throw things off. I'm going into a bit of a defensive position right now. Scarlett's maxed out. She's got a really good composition. Denying these drops really well. I'm surprised Ryung's been going for these last few. I guess one of them's got to work. They can't be on both sides of the map at the same time. I was about to say, killing that extractor is not as big of a deal. The gas is important at this stage of the game. Finally, we are seeing some of those. I'll run next to the Overlords. Nobody will find me here. So we'll see where Ryung's big game plan here. He keeps going for these drops, and they aren't getting a lot of damage done. It is nice if he can get into the main and kill off some tech. Queen's probably just going to die here. Nope, actually he's going to get away. The bank that Scarlett has right now, getting some static defense, is really going to keep her in this game. Well, it's not that she's out of this game. It's just going to keep her a little bit more focused on where her army needs to be. Going to get down these rocks, go for another base. Economy-wise, both these players are solid. I mean, they don't have anything that they have to complain about at this point. It's just whether or not all these drops are going to keep, having effect. More static defenses down here. So at some point, these are just going to lose their effectiveness. Nice to even get a spore closer to the top so you can't sneak medevacs around the top. And that's why overcommitting on missile turrets sometimes is nice. You might be able to sneak in behind. We'll see if she goes for that at some point in the game. It's a pretty big risk with all those mutas if you run into a big marine ball. This map allows you to trap things easier. So that way it can be pretty difficult Actually cost herself some banelings on those. I mean, that's not ideal, but wouldn't be too big of a deal. 2 Thors in here now. What are their upgrades at? +2. Right on. +3 is actually more than halfway done. Very difficult for these mutas to come snipe off these marauders. Would be really, really nice. I like seeing the infestors in this mix. This is a pretty tough thing to control as a Zerg player. She doesn't want her infestors to get sniped. She doesn't want to waste banelings on any of the marauders. She wants to make sure her mutalisks don't get too close to get hit by the Thors. It's a very complicated bit of micro that she needs to try to do. Getting a little caught up on her own base right now. That kind of once again gets cleaned up, and Scarlett's already remaxing, more ultras, more infestors. I like getting those spellcasting units out. These armies aren't going to be able to run away as easy. So keeping the medevac count fairly high. Still static defenses here in the main. I do like the extra hatcheries as well, just to make sure you can get that larva count up. Few changelings, just poop them out. Why not? Might actually be able to swing down here. There isn't anything for defense, and this Zergling gives full vision. Nice snipe on the medevac as well. It's a kind of annoying thing as a Terran player. If you just kind of attack command too far away, sometimes all of your medevacs just run ahead of your army and get sniped off by stuff. She should be able to get out of there alright. I actually really like Scarlett's position right now. Creep's still moving. Bases are taken with some static defenses. I'm going to have to move some of these workers over. Not too big of a deal. It's already migrated out of these bases. Ooh, nice Widowmine hits. I think they Widowmines got sniped at the same time though. So units-wise, Terran's slightly down in economy. Scarlett's bank is allowing her to not have to worry so much about that. It's the gas right now for the Terran that's a pretty big problem. I mean, obviously you can always make more and more Marines, but as you want those Marauders out and those medevacs, you kind of need to get that count up. We have Corruptors on the way. The Greater Spire is finished, and she's still making her air upgrades. Very important to stay on top of those. Double drop. Oh no. It's a nice snipe. I actually really like the idea of... Oh, Widowmine. Marine's going to keep going down for the drop. I thought they might have come back home to defend, but it looks like he's going to take this opportunity to get completely scouted. This is not the healthiest thing to do with these mutas. You can see her muta count's actually gone down quite a bit. I don't know if she minds that too much. She can actually trade a little bit of a supply now for bigger units. Whoa! Blammo. Ryung's kind of just grasping at stuff right now. I mean, it's still his economy set up, his bases are in place, he's got all of his upgrades, all of his units. The only thing that he didn't have, that he does notice to make, is the Vikings. What is his Viking count at right now? 0, but he'll get more. So as the Broodlords start to come in, we're going to see a pretty good siege up on this side. I'd be pretty happy with this position if I was Scarlett. Real nice chain fungals, going to get quite a few of those Marines. Only a handful of mutas left right now. And you want those mutas and those corruptors to be able to deal with the Viking count. It's really nice, and I'm sure Ryung's very happy that all of his upgrades do count. Well, at least his attack upgrades he's got right now for his air army. It's a tough place to want to trade right now. The Ultralisks are in here, but this is a pretty funky spot. Obviously having the Broodlords pretty much uncontested up here. It's not going to be easy for the Marines to just stim up and run underneath. Gotta make sure those Ultras are still there in place to deal with it. There's a drop taking care of this right now. But once again, Scarlett has a bit of a bank, so I'm sure for her it's more important to try and do damage. I think this is a really, really strong position for her. Nice fungals, chopping down so many of these Marines. All the splash damage is destroying it. Ryung's supplies plummeting. And all these Broodlords up here, pretty much just nothing to touch them. Mutas still available to deal with any of the Vikings that may be in play. And yeah, there's the GG. Really good game out of Scarlett there. I think that's... Like, I want to poke holes and, you know, how did Ryung end up losing that? And, I mean, he kept going for those drops, but he just wasn't able to build any momentum. You know, the Zerg player, Scarlett, just got all the tech she wanted, got all the time to do a lot of these things, dealt with these drops one by one, and just kind of got that ultimate mix that she needed with the Broodlords, the Infestors, and the Ultralisks that the Terran just wasn't in the position to deal with. And I think to deal with that, you're going to need a even more overwhelming air army. Vikings, even getting out some Ravens probably would have helped a bit there as well. Pretty good game. That means that on the ace match, Acer takes it over Axiom. Thanks everybody for watching. It's Seiko Starcraft, and we'll talk with you later.